How do you like the traditional quilting blocks? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and it's time to do the log cabins of our spring showers quilt. So this is blocks 13, 14, and 15, and they are on page 32 in our booklet. That's our spring showers booklet. So these are one of my favorites. So I like the traditional blocks. I like the look of the traditional blocks as long as they're made simple. And if they're in the hoop, they are simple. So I love the ones that are like piecing and flipping, and it's like a little puzzle, and I love puzzles. So anyway, I think the log cabins will be really fun. So my biggest tip for the log cabins is or for any piecing block, is to put your fabrics in the order that you're going to use them. So I will share step by step on this tutorial, and I will include the little photo that helps you to know which part. But you can see there's this little picture here, and I will include that as we work on the block. But that tells you how the order to put them in. So I'm also going to tell you now. But we are going to make all three blocks. We won't use one of them until later, but we're going to make all three now just to be ahead of the game. So I have something different that I want to do on these, and this is totally optional. So I am, since I'm doing the tutorial, I'm trying to follow the booklet as much as I can, but it's also fun to add some personalization, right? So some people have already been doing some personalization on their blocks, and I want to do it on these. So again, completely optional, but on that center first piece, I'm going to center a letter in the middle of it, like a monogram. Think of a monogram. And we'll have to center it just right, because we get this big piece of fabric, but the center part is actually very small. So I'm going to do it on software. You can also, I'm sure, do it on the machine. Actually, it should be pretty simple, because I'm going to put the letter in at the very end, even after the quilting, just so that the letter stands out on the top. That's my plan. So there are 3 of these log cabin blocks. So you can see them. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this backwards, but there's one down here at the very bottom, and then there's 2 here. And these are the 2 that we're going to use on this week that we're working on, and we'll save this one for later. But since there are 3 log cabin blocks and I have 3 children, I'm going to put the letter in the center of each of my children. I'm going to put their first name letter in each of the center blocks. You could put your letter, you could put your husband's letter, you could put a little B, you could put, there's so many things that you could do, and you could leave it as is too. It's a great block as is. But if you want to add a little something, I think that this would be fun, and it would stretch our abilities a little bit, which, I love doing. So that's what I'm going to do. Totally optional. So let's go over the fabrics. So like I said, if you put them in the order that you're going to use them, it makes all the difference in the world. Like seriously, it just makes it so easy where you're like, oh yeah, I got this. So that's what I highly, highly, highly suggest. So I'm going to go ahead and go over it. The first 2 are the same. So I'll just go over one of them, but the first 2 are the exact same. So your first block or your first fabric is going to be the white with red dots. Red, coral, not sure, but looks a little red to me. So that is your first fabric on the log cabin 1 and log cabin 3. That's your first one. I backed all of my stabilizers with fusible stabilizer, or I'm sorry, all of my blocks with fusible stabilizer. That works really well for me. It makes them super crisp, and I don't worry about puckering, and I don't worry about them lifting up. So there's like, sometimes when you do these, you'll get like a little bubble under them, and I don't have that when I use fusible stabilizer. So there is a negative with using fusible stabilizer on these, and it makes it bulky. So you have to watch it. Your needle, like when you're quilting it after the fact, you want to slow down your needle, because it could get stuck in one of the seams, and since it's thicker, it could pull the whole block. So that's the only negative. The positives to me outweigh that one negative, and I can watch it very carefully. But I don't like the bubbly or the chance of it looking kind of flimsy. But there's a Clover folding pen, and that helps a lot. A ton of people in our group use that, and I added a link to it a couple days ago in case you wanted to pre-order one. They're on Amazon. There's a link under this video. I think it's like a one-day shipment, and here I am out in Idaho, and it's a one-day shipment. So, so you can definitely get that and use that. The people that have it think it's just the bee's knees. It works really well for them. So I highly suggest it, even though I haven't actually used it myself because I used fusible stabilizer on the back of my blocks, on the traditional blocks. So that's an option for you. And that just helps it. So like you put it on the where you're going to flip it over, and it just makes it kind of hold there, and less chance of puckering and bubbling and all of that. So Clover folding pen. There is a link under this video for that. All right, so I mentioned that the first one is the white with the dots on it. The first one is cut to 3 by 3. And then the second one, again, keeping them in order just makes it so easy. So this is one little thing, is on the second fabric, it is this wavy fabric, which is a directional fabric. So on this, it's supposed to be cut to 2.5 by 3. There, I had extra of this, so I cut both of mine to 3 by 3. And can you guess why I did that? Just makes it easy. So like when I'm making, I don't have to think ahead of time, oh, what direction is it going to be in? And oh, I cut it the wrong way, whatever. If I have it in a regular square size 3 by 3, then when I get to working on the project, I can go, oh, okay, it's supposed to be this way. It doesn't matter because it's not going to be directional for me because I didn't pre-cut it in a smaller size. Does that make sense? So I cut mine to 3 by 3 because I had extra. If you didn't have extra and you pre-cut it to 2.5 by 3 like you're supposed to, then you just want to watch and make sure that it's going in the direction that you want it to. In the booklet, it's showing like waves. So it's horizontal or the directional waves. So just like this. So if you wouldn't want to lay it down this way unless that's the look you're going for, and that's totally fine too. So 2.5 by 3 is what the fabric 2 is supposed to be at. And then fabric 3 is the little doodle, pink doodly fabric. I love this one. Surprise, surprise. I love this one. All right, so fabric 3 is cut to 3.5 by 2. So 3.5 by 2, and that is fabric 3. Fabric 4 is the yellow orange peel. Gold, maybe it's gold orange peel. All right, and that one, again, let's see, I think it was 2 by 3.5 for this. 2 by 3.5 for fabric 4 we're on. All right, fabric 5 is cut to 4 by 2, and it is the orange doodle fabric. I think it's called doodle. I'm not sure. I could be making up my own names here. But 4 by 2 it's an orange for fabric 5. Fabric 6 is 2 by 4, and it is the pink coral color of a silky solid. Pink, silky solid for fabric 6. Fabric 7 is 5 by 2, and it is the floral, pink floral one. So in what was this? Fabric 6 in 5 by 2. All right, and I'm showing 2 because again, these two blocks, 1 and 3, are the same. So the next one is number 8. Yep, number 8. And it is the orange, and I don't know, stars. It looks like stars to me. So it's like a tangerine color. It's a light orange tangerine color, and this is cut to 2 by 5. So 2 by 5. And again, keep these in order. It really makes a difference. And then the last one is fabric 9, and we're going to cut this to 5.5 by 2, and it is the orange flower fabric. I love this. This is super pretty. So 5.5 by 2 for these. So this way. All right. So that is for the first one and the third one for the log cabins. And then same thing for log cabin 2. It is the white with teal dots for the center. And again, I'm going to add a letter into the middle of this. I'm going to put an N for my son, Nikki. So choose what you want on it or nothing. It doesn't matter at all. So up to you. 3x3 for the first one. And again, I did back these with fusible stabilizer, but that's optional. The clover folding pen will work really well for you too if you choose to do that. All right, and fabric 2 is this teal. It's a dark teal, silky solid, and that we're going to cut to 2.5x3. And then fabric 3 is 3.5x2, and it's that mint colored doodle fabric. That's what I'm calling it. Again, I could be making these names up. Who knows? I don't know where I heard doodle, so probably from Daylily. That's my guess. We'll blame them. So, and then fabric 4, let's see, which one are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fabric 4 is 2x3.5, and it is the green with flowers on it. And fabric 5 is 4x2, and it is the green silky solid. It's like an olive green color, silky solid in 4x2. And then fabric 6 is 2x4, and it is this teal with flowers and circles on it, stars, and I'm not sure, but crosses. Looks like crosses and flowers and circles in 2x4. So this way, sorry. All right, and then 5x2 for fabric 7. It is the orange peel, and I call this the lattice. Maybe it's, I don't know. Anyway, it's got an orange peel. I think it's lattice. I think this is the called lattice. 5x2 for fabric 7, and it is the teal orange peel lattice looking fabric. And then fabric 8 is 2x5, and it's that lime green doodle. Maybe apple green is probably a better word. Apple green, 2x5 in fabric 8. And the last one is 5.5x2, and it is the green with flowers on it. So that is for log cabin 2. So that's all 3 of those. And then when it's all done, we'll go over it step by step, but when it's all done, we are going to quilt it. And I'm going to use 2 different quilting designs. So first off, we're going to have our batting. So since we're making 3 log cabins, we have 3 pieces of batting, and these are cut to 5x5 because our final cut size of this project is 4.5 by 4.5 of each of the blocks. So 5x5 on your batting, 3 pieces, 1 for each log cabin. And then we are going to choose a quilting design that is 4x4. You can use any quilting design. I probably will merge these together just to save on stabilizer and time. It doesn't matter though. You're not going to like double hoop them or anything. So small hoop, big hoop, it won't matter. You can use whatever quilting design that you want in a 4x4. So on log cabin 1, I call this the girly color one. I'm going to use plant 2. So it's the mushrooms. Oh, that'll be really cute. Oh, cute. Sorry. Plant 2. So that's the mushrooms. And then for log cabin 2, which is the one, the boy colors one is what I'm using it for, because that one's going to be for my Nikki. This one, I'm sorry, this is log cabin. Yes, log cabin 2. This one we are going to use the birdhouse. So it's animal 1 in the birdhouse, again in 4x4 birdhouse. That will be really cute for log cabin, very cute. And then for log cabin 3, I'm going to use orange peel 2. I haven't used that one before. I've used orange peel 1, but I haven't used orange peel 2. So that all of these actually are brand new to me. These will be really fun. I bought that spring bundle kit. So on the kit real quick, if you, it's currently on sale. I don't know how long that sale will be, but there's a bunch of quilting designs, and I'm using all of those for this quilting, for this quilt. For this quilt, I'm using the whole spring bundle, and you can choose to buy a couple of designs and use that on all of your blocks, or you can buy that bundle and have an entire library added to. You can add all of these designs to your library to be able to use on future projects. So it's a good way to purchase them if you can afford it. So for log cabin 3, I am going to use orange peel 2, which is the lattice. So that'll be really cute on this. And then in 4x4, 4x4 for this. And like I said, I am going to quilt the whole thing after it's done. We're going to piece it all together and then we're going to quilt it. And then after that, I'm going to put on the letter, my monogram. And I'm doing my kid's name as my monogram letter. You can use whatever you want or don't. It doesn't matter at all. It's up to you. So that is for log cabin 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do all 3 blocks and they're my favorite. So let's get started. Hey everyone, so I decided to merge 3 log cabins together into one hooping. I'm using my 9.5 by 14 hoop and I did it a little bit differently. So what I did is I put an entire sheet of batting in my hoop or on my hoop that matches the hoop size because I'm using most of my hoop for the 3 blocks. So I did that and then I ran the piecing template on top of that and it worked great. So there was no bypassing steps or reordering steps. I just did it in software how I thought that it would work best. And let me just show you. So here it is and you can see that I did my piecing template right on top of the batting and then I jumped right into all the steps of the log cabin and then I finished the log cabin and I did all of the quilting designs and then I did my monogram in the center. So that was really easy and there wasn't any bypassing of steps, but this works great if you're using a blue quilting design because the quilting design that I chose is just the quilting. So you can see it's just the quilting design. But on this orange one, so I did 2, these 2 are blue designs and it worked great, no problem at all. After it was all done, I trimmed the batting away. But on this orange one, the orange peel, it is an orange quilting design, which means it goes into the seams. You can see here that it goes off the side. So that makes it so that it doesn't let you cut away the batting. So I do have a little batting close to my seams here on this one. So I'm going to show you a different way, but if you're using all blue designs, quickest, easiest way is to just put batting in your hoop and run the piecing template and there's no bypassing. If you are using any orange designs, and the way that I'm going to show you is you will need to bypass some steps. But if you're on the embroidery machine, you'll bypass steps. You've seen me do that a bunch of times. It's not difficult. But if you're using software, you can just take out steps and move them. So anyway, I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. So let's go ahead and start. So you can see that I have my 9 by 14 hoop already here. You can see it down at the bottom. If you don't already have the hoop that you want, you go up here to this preferences folder and then click on the hoop that you want and click OK. And again, this is not required. You could do each one separately, but this was actually extremely simple. The way that I did it, it was really simple, but then I saw the flaw as far as the orange design. So let's go ahead and get started. So the way I did it is I just jumped right into the template, the piecing template, but I'm going to show you how to do it with the quilting. So I'm going to start by loading a quilting design. So go up here to merge stitch file. And all right, so the first one that they suggest is the plant 2. It's the cute mushroom design. So we're going to look for plant 2. We're in orange peel right now. So go to plant 2 and let's do the block by block because that will give us our placement stitch and our tack down stitch of our batting. So we're going to look for the 4x4 and it's right here. Double click on that and then I'm just going to click on it and move it up to the top of my hoop here. All right, so that's the first thing. So then we're going to load in our second one. All right, so go again up to this merge stitch file and find your next one. The next one that they use is the one with the cute birdhouse. Where is it? Log Cabin 2 Birdhouse. It's called Animal 1. So this one I'll show you. It didn't actually work for me. I ended up not using this one. It's really cute though. Animal 1 in 4x4 and it's the vertical. All right, so click on that and move it over. So the reason it didn't work for me is see these cute little birds in the middle? that's where I put my monogram. And so it kind of took away the cuteness factor. It just had birdhouses. There was one off to the side, but I ended up deciding not to use this one, although it's really cute and I'm hoping to use it on a different block. So that's the second one. So now go up here to file merge, or sorry, to the merge stitch file. And we are going to look for Orange Peel 2. That's the last one that they used. And this one, actually, I'll show you. It's really cute with a monogram in the middle. Put down to the bottom of your hoop. You want to have as much room available as you can so that these don't get in the way of each other. And they do a little bit. You have to babysit it. If you've got a Luminaire or a Solaris, then you're probably totally fine because you've got even more room on your biggest hoop. So see, this Orange Peel 2 was perfect for a monogram because it's got this little opening here in the center. All right, so there are our 3 quilting designs. So if you look, we want that placement for the batting and the tack down for the batting, but we don't want this the placement and the tack down for the main fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and just click delete and delete. So then we have the 3 steps, and we want to do that on both of these. So on the 3rd step, we know that's our placement for our main fabric. The 4th step is our tack down of our main fabric. We don't need that because we're going to have it in our piecing template. So same thing, delete, delete. All right. So now we have the 3 steps for each of our blocks for our quilting. So we have the placement and the tack down of our batting, and then we've got the quilting design. So right now we have 9 steps, and we're going to go ahead and bring in our first log cabin. All right, so log cabin, I'm just going to close these. All right, find the log cabin, double click on that, and it goes to the center. So click on the stitching. If you click like here in a clear space, it won't move it. But if you click on the stitching, we can bring it up here. So I'm going to line it up with the batting. All right, so now before you copy and paste this or bring more in, I'm going to go ahead and change these. So if you notice, we've got that default blue, default orange that are common in these designs, and I'm going to change every single color. I tried it a few different ways where I did that applique position, and that didn't work on this. And then I tried keeping these colors, and that didn't work. It didn't merge them. Or didn't join them. So I'm going to go ahead and just change every color. So when I did mine, here's mine. When I did mine, you can see I used rainbow colors, and I did that just so that I would remember which colors I had already used. But you don't actually need to do that. You can do it a little bit quicker. If you, here's our first one, log cabin. So if you just click on a color that's close to it, then that works fine. So like I'm going to use, we're on palettes. So if you're on palettes, it's showing you the colors that you've already used in this design. We don't want that. We want new colors. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click on Mint Julep just because it's close by to it, and say okay. And then same thing, just change all of these colors. I think that there were, I don't know, 18 of them, I think. So I'm going to click on sea green and say okay. And then on the orange, click on the color, click on a new color. I'm going to use bronze. We haven't used bronze. Say okay. And then just keep doing this. And you just want to make sure not to click on one that you've already used. So see, I have the sea green here, there's sea green. So I'm going to do the next color down, and it's close by, it's easy. We use bronze, so I'm going to go to biscotti. Say okay. Then we go back to the blue. We did sea green and we did mint, so I'm going to click on magic mint. Say okay. And then this one, the orange, we did biscotti, so we're going to do wheat. All right, and then cloud. Say okay. We're just going through these very quickly and changing the colors. We haven't used caramel yet, so let's use caramel. And then this blue, I think we did cloud, so we're going to do azure. All right, and on the orange, with our last one was caramel, so we'll use shell. And on this blue, we did azure, so now we'll do light turquoise. And then on this orange, we did shell, so we'll do sand dune. And the blue, we did light turquoise. Oops, so we'll go down to baby blue. And we have just a couple more. On orange, we'll come down to sand. And then on this blue, our last one was baby blue, right? Yep, baby blue, so we'll go dark aqua. And on this orange, we did sand, so we'll do military gold. And our last one, I'm going to use nickel. All right, so now all of those have been changed. Each of the colors have been changed. So if I go and click on this whole box here, it doesn't have the quilting, it just has the log cabin. I can hit Control C and Control V and it'll make another one right on top of it. So click anywhere and bring it down. And I'm using the box from the batting to line it up. And that one is done. So another Control V will give us our third one. And again, bring it down. Line it up with the batting. And we're done. All right, so now we have our 3 quilting designs and our 3 log cabins. So I wanted to add a monogram. You can see on my one here, I added a monogram. That's totally optional. You could add in a monogram. You could add in a cute little bee. You could add in a cute little kitty cat, whatever you want to do, a little umbrella, anything. I found a bunch of quilting design, or not quilting, sorry, embroidery designs by clicking on Etsy and clicking mini embroidery designs. And I found this shop called So Cha Cha, and they had a bunch of mini designs, and it gave me all kinds of ideas of fun things. That was when I was working on the No Place Like Home pillow. But for this, I decided I want a monogram, for one for each of my children. So to do that, then you would just go up here to the letter, create a letter, and I used almond cookies. I think it was by Stitchtopia, if I recall. Let's see. Yep, Stitchtopia almond cookies, and I used 1 inch. I tried 0.75. I thought that would fit better, and it didn't. I ended up using a 1 inch. And then you just highlight the ABC and type in the letter that you want to use and hit enter. And then you can see right here, it was easier before the quilting, I'll tell you, but you want to line it up in that center box. So when you move it up, you can see that center box right there? That is nice right there. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go there. See, this is the center box, and you're just aligning it within there. So I did 3 of these, so I'm going to add in another one and do a letter N and hit return, and it goes back to that same font. So I tried a bunch of fonts, different fonts, and you'll have to pick which ones work well for you. Some of them were very loopy and took up too much room. Some of them were too wide. This almond cookies worked really well for me. So let's see, there's this. You have to kind of look to see if it's within this square here, and you could make that color darker too if you wanted. All right, and then I have just one more, and I'm going to click on that and click a capital S and hit return, and then again bring it down to fit within that square there. All right, so those are all done. So look at this. We have 64 steps for this. 64 steps for this one hooping project. So you could be done. That would take a lot of time, in my opinion. What I would do, look at Archie. Oh, he's so cute. What I would do is do a color sort. So I'm going to go ahead and do a color sort. Make sure that you have everything the way that you want it, as far as the quilting design being first, your monogram being last so that it stands out, your log cabin in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Utility, Color Sort, and it will run through, and it says it reduced it by 42 color changes. So I'm going to click New View. That makes it so that I can see what changes they are and see if I want to keep that. And it makes it all one step. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it'll show me. So look at that. We've got all of our placement for our batting, all of our tack down for our batting, all of our quilting. Oh, I have to move that, don't I? So right now it's got the quilting at the top, and we want that at the bottom. Sorry, I forgot about that. So we will move that. That's easy to do. I'll do that in a minute. So first let's check all of these. There's our piecing template, and then it's going to run through each of these steps. Good, good, good. What was this one? Oh yeah, okay, good. So you're just checking to make sure that it's got all three. This worked out perfectly. So all we did is we changed the colors on that first block and then copied and pasted to make 3 of them. All right, so this is all very good, good. And then the finished box on each of them and our monogram. So what we want to do is move that, the quilting. We want the quilting to be after the log cabins and before the monogram. So what I'm going to do, where was that? Right here. I'm going to right click on it and say move last, just so it goes to the end of here, and then I can move it up 1. So I could just move it, or I can say move earlier. So then we've got all of our log cabin and all of our quilting and then our monogram. Perfect. All right, so again, this is using a couple of orange designs. The bird design is an orange design. You can see it goes over the seams here, and the orange peel also goes over the seams. So that's an orange design. Whereas this mushroom one is all inside of this square, so there it doesn't go into the seams at all. So if you did all blue designs, then you could do what I did as far as the one piece of batting in your hoop and not have to reorder your steps. If you are not using embroidery software, you would start with your quilting design and run through the first and the second, so the placement and the tack down of the batting, and then you would skip ahead to your log cabin, do all of the steps of your log cabin, and then before you finish, when you're done with the last square around the log cabin, then you would run your quilting design. So you would just go back up to the steps, and it would be that step number 5, and go ahead and run that. If you did the monogram like I did, that should be your very last step. And so again, this was very easy in embroidery software. Make sure to do a file, save stitch file as, and then name it whatever you want it to be, and put it either on your desktop or in that same folder, wherever you're going to look for it. I hope that helps. everyone, so I want to point out something. I used my batting just in my hoop and ran my template on top of the batting and did all of the block, and then afterward I trimmed down the batting from the seams. So you can see here, hopefully. So that was really easy to do because there is an outer stitch at the last step before the quilting. The last step tacks down the entire block. So it was really easy to use that. It says in the booklet as a trimming guide. So you can either take out those like basting stitches or you can trim. And actually I would probably recommend trimming because that makes your block 4.5. So keep in mind though that I stabilized all my fabric. If you didn't stabilize your fabric, make sure to measure. Since mine was really stabilized, it came out the same size. It didn't shrink in. So check yours, but mine, when I measured that little box that it made around it, it was 4.5. So I cut right inside of that box, or right on that box, and took out those stitches, and then it made it super simple for me to take out the batting from the seams. But that was on the blue design. So I just want to point out, so these two, I used a blue design, and if you use, what was the first one? The mushrooms, that's a blue design. So very easy to take out the batting. But if you do an orange design, remember how the stitching goes off into the seams. So on that one, I did orange peel on my last one, and that is an orange design, and it went off into the side, and you can see that I'm not able to get the batting out of that because that stitching went off to the side. So if you're doing orange designs, I would do where you do the whole placement and tack down of your batting first, and then skip steps to the template part, and then go back at the end to get your quilting. So I was trying to save from that because it can be confusing, but I'll put in the video. But I saved by not having to do that at all. I just added the design at the end, and actually I used the CBT version, so it didn't even have all that placement and tack down of the batting, and instead I just put batting in my hoop and I did my design, and it was just super simple. But I didn't think about the fact that the orange designs, that will be problematic. So if you're doing an orange design like this orange peel, which was really cute, I did it in a light color so you can't even really see it. But if you do this orange peel or any of the orange designs, you probably would do better with doing your placement and tack down of your batting, and then skipping steps to the design and skipping back to get the quilting on. And that will just alleviate the batting in your seam. Batting in your seam is not a deal breaker. It's not going to ruin your day, but it's nice to it's easier to sew them together and not have that bulk in your seams. So anyway, up to you, however you want to do it. I will mention it in the video on the step-by-step part for those of you that are using the orange designs. So anyway, they came out really cute. Pretty excited about these. And my shirt today, since we're doing a traditional block, I'm wearing a quilting shirt, and it says quilters know all the angles. It's a Designs by Juju design, and I will add a link under this video. But I think you get like 6 designs in it. I don't remember, but they're all pretty useful. They're all ones that I really liked. So quilters know all the angles, because we are official quilters now, you know, we're working on our quilt.